the stage Mr. Roger Wade.
Simon, thanks a lot.
Mister.
Thank you. Hello. Quite possibly the most boring title ever. The real title that I wanted to say was Show Me the Money, okay? Because that's what it's about in the end. So as Simon said in the intro, my name's Roger Wade. I'm a serial entrepreneur. At the age of 21, after university, I got sacked in my first 3 jobs in advertising. If there's any of my ex-bosses in here, they're probably amazed I'm on this stage. So I decided to set up my own company. My first company I set up was Boxfresh, and it was a streetwear company right at the very beginning of streetwear in 1989 and 1990. And we really grew that business over the next 15 years. It took me a lot longer to exit it than I thought. But along the way, I brought on brands like Carhartt, G-Star to the UK, and eventually I sold that brand 15 years later to the owners of JD Sports, which is Pentland Group, a £6 billion group. And I tried to work for Pentland Brands for a couple of years. Didn't really work out, corporate world, and I set up my own business again. And I set up a brand consultancy business, and it was specializing in buying, selling, and licensing brands, and my major client was Superdry. And I did that for about 5 years. I'm trying to really establish a low base here to show you, you don't have to be that smart to make money. I did it for about 5 years, and I became a bit bored of having clients like myself who had quite big egos and never really listened, and I'm sure you recognize those. And I set up, I guess, the world's first pop-up mall. And it literally was what Steve Jobs coined, like connecting up the dots of my life. I built a container shop for Boxfresh. I always loved physical retail, and I just happened to have a mate that ran a retail development, and I thought, well, if he can have a retail development, I can have. And literally, without knowing how to run a retail development, I built BoxPark in 2010. And we went on an incredible journey with it. And you often get guys up here sort of waxing lyrical about, yeah, it was just great, the business just grew, it was absolutely fantastic. No, it wasn't. It was a real roller coaster. And literally, in the first 5 years, we really worked hard at trying to make physical retail work. But in the end, it wasn't the physical retail that worked. It wasn't the streetwear. It wasn't the sports fashion. It was the street food. And after 5 years, we pivoted much more into food, drink, and event business. And at this time, it was sort of pre-COVID, and the kids were still drinking. I'm not sure they are at the moment. And we sold them a lot of drink, and basically we became an extremely profitable company. We went from 5 million turnover, maybe making £1 million, to a £20 million turnover business, doing about 5 million EBITDA. And after 10 years of running that business, I decided I wanted to sell it. And I had a beauty parade of most of the private equity and trade buyers. I had about 50 different people who want to buy it. And in the end, I sold to private equity. I sold to Lloyds Development Capital. I come from South London, so it's, I'm quite down to earth. But at business school, they said I had a liquidity event. Well, in South London, it was, I made a shitload of money. But I realized that, so I went to retire when I was 55, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, went back to university or back to business school. But I realized I had a bit of a void. And my daughter said to me, Dad, you've made money, but what else have you done? And do you know what? She was right. I know it's, it wasn't that easy making money, daughter. It's a hard audience. She's too well educated. But she was right. I literally spent 35 years, like most of you in this room, just trying to make money, and that was it. But then when I got to the end of this journey, the end was a bit bittersweet, because I realized I had enough. I had everything I really wanted in life. And actually, there was a few loves I had. And one of them was being an entrepreneur. I think Peter Crouch once famously said that if he wasn't a footballer, he'd be a virgin. If I wasn't an entrepreneur, I'd be a virgin. So it really gave me my self-worth. And at the same time, I just wanted, I think there's a famous quote that the ancient Greeks used to say, which was the Ephebic Oath: I shall leave this city a better place than I found it. And I just wanted, in I guess the last 20 years of my life, to leave this world a little bit better. So I decided to set up a venture capital fund specializing in impact consumer brands. So one of our first investments we've done is Nude. It's a plant-based gum, and we're hoping to get rid of the world of plastic gum. So I'm not sure many of you, this is going to be a bit of a plug, by the way, I'm not sure many of you realize, but the chewing gum that you chew is made up of plastic. And we're talking about plastic, we're talking about Goodyear tire plastic. And so we're looking for a plant-based alternative, because no one really likes plastic gum on the floor, do they? So we've invested in Nude, a great business, a business that wants to rid the world of plastic gum. And one of the secrets that I've got, so I'm trying to build up credibility here, see, a bit of track record, but I've got to give you some lessons about how to build and sell a consumer brand. But one of the secrets, I believe, to making money is to just know something a bit better than anyone else. Just know your field a little bit better. In my case, I've spent 35 years running consumer brands. That's just that little thing in life that I know about. So I believe there's always going to be a future for consumer brands. And the reason why is because of Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. And effectively, with a brand, what you're doing is you're making somebody feel special. Okay? That's ultimately what you're doing. You've got to connect with a customer. You've got to make them feel special. And what I'm going to predict today is that a lot of the brands that you see up there will not exist in 10 years' time. Will Coca-Cola as a brand exist in its current guise in 10 years' time? One of the world's richest brands, most valuable brands? I don't believe it will. Will McDonald's exist in its current guise in 10 years' time? I don't believe it will. It might do if Trump is around, but hopefully he won't be around. Because the reality is, we've got the advent of quantum computing, and as a result of that, we're going to be able to know everything that's in our food products, not from a molecular level, but from atomic level, and how that's going to interact with your body. And with social media, everyone is going to know the damage that bad brands do to your body, allegedly, okay? So, you're going to know about the effect of those E numbers. You're going to know about the plastic in there. You're going to know about the content within a McDonald's. So what I passionately believe is the future of consumer brands are going to be impact brands. And that's what I'm betting on. So look, how do you run a business, okay? And it's remarkable how many people in this room, you sort of, like my journey, you sort of just accidentally start off in business, don't you? You get into something and you just start with it, and lo and behold, you might be quite good at it, I don't know. But the reality is we don't consciously go into business and understand the destination. And that's the number one thing for any of you that are in this room today. Understand your destination. Would you go on a journey without knowing where you're going to? Well, why are you setting up a business without knowing why you're in business? And what is the why? I believe there's 3 whys. Oh. Who dislikes Elon Musk now? Come on. Put the hands up. Come on. I used to really like him. I can't stand him now. His ego is absolutely out of control. But what I'm going to say to you is the majority of you in this room, you're in business because of your ego. Okay? Because I was. Because you'll say things like I said at the very beginning. I'm now running this venture capital fund because I want to make a better world. Well, that's my ego. I'm in business because I want to be my own person. I want to change the world. It's hard hitting, but the reality is that is your ego talking. And if you are running a business for your ego, understand that and understand why some venture capitalists or private equity people might not want to back you. But really ask yourself that hard question. Why are you in business? Why are you in the field that you're going into? What's your why? Why is it that every time you put up a job in your organization and it says sales, you might get 10 applicants, but add the word sales and marketing, you'll get hundreds? It's your ego. The reality is, we're all in sales. Okay, do you know who this guy is? Come on. Can anyone pronounce his name? That's more importantly. Yves Chouinard, okay, the founder of Patagonia. And this is another reason to be in business. It's for the betterment of this world, or for your employees, or for your family. And it's amazing what Yves is doing. He literally has just given the controlling share, or all of the shares, of Patagonia for the benefit of the environment. What an incredible legacy that is. Amazing. I mean, if anyone has not watched his How I Made It podcast, you know, with Guy Ries, I think it is, please watch it. It's an absolute inspiration about having enough in life. Not having that monkey brain just constantly going to you, I want this, I want that, I want this. This guy's got enough. He wears a pair of shorts for 20 years. He's now promised with Patagonia that all of his products have a lifetime guarantee that you can return it. This guy is rich, real rich. And this guy's rich. Okay? So, another reason to be in business is to make money. Never be ashamed of saying you're in business to make money. There's too many of us that just want to dance around it. Just go, I'm in business to make money. That's why I'm here, okay? Because it's not the making money that matters. It's how you spend it. Look at this guy, Bill Gates. I don't know why he gets so much bad press. I don't understand it. He's given 95% of his wealth away to make a better world. This guy is on the way to solving malaria in Africa. So if you're asking yourself your question about why am I in business, ask those 3 fundamental questions. Is it your ego? Is it because you want to make a better world, hand the business over to your family? Or is it because you want to make money? But know your why. Okay, so you know your why. You set up your business, right? How are you now going to make money, okay? So you're developing your consumer brand, or, you know, what are your possible exits? So one is a trade sale. So I sold Boxfresh to Pentland Brands in a trade sale. Why did Pentland's Brands buy Boxfresh? I think they probably regret it now, but it didn't at the time. It's because they had a stable of brands and they wanted a British streetwear brand, okay? And there was economies of scale with it. So you've always got trade buyers out there. Then the next one is private equity. And like myself, you might be viewing private equity through rose-tinted glasses. You might be going, God, this is the holy grail. I've dealt with a lot of private equity. I sold my last business to private equity, okay? Beware of selling to private equity, because what a lot of them do is load your company up with debt. Sorry for all these Man United fans out there. Come on, I had to take the opportunity and show this. you know. But ask yourself what they did and what private equity often do. And it is a warning. They will often just dangle the carrot of the valuation to you, and they will not say the amount of debt that goes into the business until the very end. And what they want to do is put the maximum amount of debt in the business. Why? Because their shareholders are looking for a return on investment. The less money they put in, the greater the return. No one tells you this. Beware, it's not about the headline number of the valuation. It's often the little small details like the debt. Because you know what you're going to end up doing? You're virtually going to be financing your own exit because your company will be loaded up with a debt. They'll get majority control. You won't control your company anymore. So all that shines is not gold. Remember that with private equity. And there's IPOs. But you know what? IPOs are not for everyone. I was good friends with Julian from Superdry, who famously said that his stock was a pile of shit. So, you know, it obviously didn't work for him, and it devalued. It's very, very difficult running a public company, and it's not for some people. I was hearing a story today about Boohoo, and Boohoo, Mike Ashley is bought into Boohoo, and now he's, you know, he effectively wants to take control of the company, okay? And that's what happens in a public company. You can lose the ability to run a company, okay? Venture capital is a little bit different, okay? Because the difference between venture capital and private equity is the stage at which we invest in. We invest early, so we can't raise debt, okay? We can't go out and get somebody to give us debt because the company often is pre-profits, or it's just, you know, making some revenue. So as a result of that, you as a young entrepreneur that's looking to get venture capital, why are you going to do that? You want to do that to accelerate the process of running and building your company. Because there's specialist funds out there that can help you raise the money, okay? Unashamed plug, one of them is us, okay? I'm going to talk to you about now, if you ever get on board with a venture capital fund, what to look out for. What I found is that 95% of all VCs out there are financiers. And they're looking at it like a Ponzi scheme, okay? And they're not entrepreneurs, so they won't join your board. They're great at raising money, great at getting a great deal for themselves. But when it comes to adding value to the company, they often, or very often, will not join the board. And they will probably help out with the exit. But what's the point of making an investment into a company if you're not adding value? How we try to be different in our company is that we do less deals. We do 4 deals on a deal-by-deal basis, and we join the boards of those companies. And I would encourage you, if you're ever going to talk to a venture capital fund, talk to somebody that's got knowledge of your industry. Now, if you're running a fund, we run ours by different principles. We're not led by spreadsheets. Spreadsheets at early stage, I believe, are not worth the paper they're written on. I'm really trying to be controversial here and throw some grenades in that room, and they're not exploding, okay? So we're not going to look at a spreadsheet. What we really look at with consumer brands is that we're really led by emotional intelligence. And this is one of the key things that I'm going to leave you with today. What are the fundamentals of a great consumer brand? And in my experience of running consumer brands for 35 years, they are the following, okay? And I challenge anyone in this room to say there's more important principles. 1, product. Product is king. Going back to what I said earlier, if you are not special to your customer, you will not exist. You can't just turn up now with second-rate product in a social media world. your product has to be incredible. You've got to be able to relate to the customer and make them feel special. And you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't generate traffic to that product, and not an organic traffic, not just paid for traffic. I mean, some of the costs of paid for traffic are ridiculous. But if you can develop traffic, you can have a successful brand. And sometimes you get a situation like the Sidemen where the traffic actually starts the brand. The Sidemen launched a film on Netflix. It was #1 film. They launched Sides in BoxPark, one of the businesses we were in. We had queues around the block. You know, KSI had Prime. You know, it was selling out. I'm not sure it's selling out now, but it was. But sometimes you can start with traffic and then you add product. But the product's still got to be good because you don't want it to be another Prime where maybe the product does not match up to the hype. And then finally, you've got this great product. You've got traffic. It's about having a great team that converts that into profitable sales. These are the core pillars. And as Alex Ferguson, notice the Man United innuendos? As Alex Ferguson said, you've got to make sure your geese are flying in the same direction. And that is so important in your organizations. How many organizations I've worked in where, you know, you get somebody that's just going off. They might be a superstar, but they're no good as a superstar if they're not on track. Make sure that all your team is flying together like geese. Those are the fundamentals of running a brilliant consumer brand. And champion them in your organization. Who's head of product? Who's head of traffic? Who's head of operations and team? Because the numbers report those three fundamental pillars. You hear a lot about VCs and unicorns, okay? Especially from the Silicon Valley VCs. They love all of these like, we want to get unicorns. We want a 20x return. We think a lot of it is absolute bullshit. It really is. We like zebras, just black and white businesses that want to be profitable. The days in which venture capital were literally investing in each other's companies and doing co-investment, almost like a Ponzi scheme, are over. Nowadays, it is really tough to raise money. Really tough. Certainly tough in the UK. It's a bit easy in America. They seem to be awash with it. But in the UK, it is tough. And what we're looking for is great product, great traffic, a great team, and we're looking for a road to profitability. And then I think sometimes, I mean, it's a bit scary, the world we're living in at the moment, with Elon Musk and with Donald Trump, and we're just sort of rewinding all the good that we've done over the past 20 years. It's like going back, you know, to the 1970s world. And what I really want to stress to you is it's not a choice sometimes between impact and return. It really isn't. The future generations are demanding more impactful brands. You know, they literally are. They want to drink healthier drinks. They want to eat healthier snacks. They want to work for companies that they can be proud of. That's why today you've seen Tesla sales drop off the cliff in Europe, a 50% reduction. Who wants to buy a product from a fascist, you know? Allegedly. Okay. So in whatever you do, I really encourage you, you know, think about making a better world. That I was going to retitle this Dumb and Dumber, actually. But the reality is, look, these guys are a blip. There's nothing to admire about these guys. They're charlatans. They are only interested in short-term political gain. And it's down to you lot, as marketeers, to stand up against these people. Diversity is fantastic. It's there to protect us, you know, to create a more diverse world, not just racially, sexually, you know, neurodiversity. The reality is we've inherited an Anglo-Saxon Christian world. Just judge everyone as you expect to be judged. Treat everyone as you expect to be treated. I'll be 1 minute. Okay.
I know, was it that obvious?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm fucking proud to be woke. You know? Be proud to be woke. Because being woke means you care. You care about society. Okay? So I ask you, I challenge you all, please speak up for the good guys. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm often speaking about politics, surprisingly. That's my WhatsApp thing or LinkedIn code. Thank you very much. Cheers.